Hello and welcome to episode 94 of the She Must Knit podcast. My name is Erin and thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I hope you guys had a great week. It has been just about a week, just a little over a week since I recorded last, and I had a really nice productive week. So I hope you guys had a really good week as well. It was just a good week. I felt like I got a lot done. I still feel like an uncomfortable walrus, but every day I just tried to do one thing that made me feel like I got something accomplished that day. And at the end of the week, I feel like I got quite a bit done, both knitting and household-wise. I know last time we spoke, I was saying how we still hadn't started working on getting the baby room ready, and it was just feeling very overwhelming. So this past week, every day, every morning before I kind of did anything else, I just tried to clear a little bit of that room, and now it is basically ready for my aunt to come. She wants to clean the walls first, and then she's going to get it painted. So that's pretty much ready. I'm feeling really good about having that done. I feel like I got a lot of knitting done this week. I feel like I caught up on a lot of household stuff that kind of got let go during January when I just wasn't at my best. So yeah, it's been a really good week. So I hope you guys had a really good week as well. Today is Valentine's Day. By the time you are watching this, it will have passed. So I hope you had a really lovely day. We are not really doing anything today because it is just this out of the blue, frigid, -30 with the windshield type day. I am not going anywhere today. I have learned my lesson. When it's really cold like this, I am just staying inside. I do not want to get that sick like I did in January again. So I will be hibernating today. I'll be trying to make a decent dinner. We don't do very much. Avery, I usually put together a little Valentine's Day kind of basket for her, but Dennis and I don't do a lot. We did end up going out for a family dinner last night, which was really nice, but yeah, otherwise today I just plan on getting some more knitting done and just kind of chilling out and having a chat with you guys. So yeah, what do I have for you today? I have some finished objects. I have a little bit of everything. I have finished objects, I have some work in progress, and then I'm going to talk about what I'm hoping to accomplish over the next week or so before I talk to you again. Now, before we get into this, the only reason I'm mentioning this is because I can see it. I know it's showing up on camera, and some of you probably won't even notice, but there might be some of you who are just thinking, what the heck is that? So there is a little mark on my face. It is not smudged makeup. It is not dirt. It is not, whatever else. Yeah, I had one of those incidents that you just kind of roll your eyes at the other night where in the middle of the night. So I'm at the point now where I can't even say to get a comfortable sleep because I'm just not sleeping very well. But I am basically using every single extra pillow that we have in our house in various positions to try and be comfortable. And the other night I woke up in the middle of the night and some of my pillows had fallen off the bed, and in an attempt to reach them, I ended up banging my cheekbone on the one of the boards that frame our bed. So I have a really nice little mark there, and yeah, makeup can only do so much. So if you're wondering why I have a smudge on my face, that is what it is. It is a bruise. So let's get into the knitting. We are going to start with my finished objects. And the first one, actually both of these are ones I think I mentioned in the last episode that I was hoping to get done. One I knew was going to be a really quick project, and I think the day after I recorded, I sat down and tackled it just because I wanted something that was just going to get me the feeling of accomplishment and just that motivation that I was getting things done. January, it just felt like nothing happened. So this was just one of those projects to kind of get the ball rolling on feeling good about getting some knitting done again. Actually, this is crochet, but you know what I mean, working on projects. So I had showed this to you last week in ball form. I had picked it up at Michael's with the intention of making this project specifically, and it is made out of the Bernat Blanket Tweeds yarn, and this is in the colorway Ivory Tweed. I really like how it worked up, and my plan was just to make a little cat mat for our troublesome cat, Mr. T. I had talked about how I had used this yarn to make Avery a blanket for Christmas, and we've been having that blanket kind of lying on the ground, and Mr. T just loves that blanket. He loves sleeping on that blanket. So I thought it would be nice to make him his own little blanket that we could put in different places. And that way Avery could also kind of reclaim her blanket, which she has. It's now on the couch and she cuddles with it when she's watching her shows and stuff. So this was on an afternoon project. I think I started it kind of in the late morning after Avery had gone to school and I had had my breakfast and I had kind of done whatever I wanted to do first thing in the morning. That's when I started it, and I believe I finished it kind of within the evening time. So working on it here and there throughout the day, one day project. And here it is. It's just a very simple design. I can't even really say it's a design. I will be popping up some pictures in the corner so you can see it in action. But basically all I did was I chained 50 stitches and then I did half double crochets all the way up until the ball ran out, and I think it ended up being the perfect little size for him. He's a big boy, but he can lay on it in any kind of position he wants, sprawled out or curled up or whatever, and he's on the blanket. And I will say, I started off, I was like, oh, sometimes he can just be a little poop. I was a little worried at first. I figured he'd get used to it, but the day I finished it, I put it down. I think I put it in one of the spots that he really likes to lay in, which is kind of by the window. And he did everything in his being to avoid it. He walked around it. He went, like, he was looking at it like, what the heck is that thing in my spot? He would not touch it. Actually, he's just come up on the table. So let's see if my theory, remember I was talking about how it would be nice to have something that I can put on the table when I'm recording so that he could lie on it and not try and climb all over my projects. We're going to test that theory out now. So he's on his blanket now, so hopefully this will work. But yeah, for the first day, he just avoided it. I put it in his favorite spot. He specifically walked all around it, would not touch it. I put it in another one of the spots. He would literally like walk around it, even if it was easier just to walk across. He was avoiding it at all costs. So I think the second or third day, I put it on the floor in front of me where I kind of work and, knit on the couch. And I played with him a little bit under it like Avery does with her blanket. So he would pounce on it, and he played with it a little bit. And by that afternoon, he was walking on it and he was curled up on it. And as you can see by hopefully some of the pictures I've been putting up, he has become quite enamored with his little blanket. He loves it. So I might be tempted to make another one just to have to put, different spots. But I don't know. For now, we have a little ottoman kind of in front of the couch at the moment, and I've been putting it on there, and he will just spend his days. He's one of those cats that kind of likes to be near you, not necessarily on you. Sometimes definitely on you, but mostly near you. And he will just sit on his blanket and keep me company throughout the day. And it has worked out exactly as I had hoped. So that is my first finished object. I believe I used an 8mm hook with that, and again, I just used the entire ball. So my second finished object, I was hoping I would have done for this episode as well. Really, these are quick knits if you spend time on them, and that is my little baby girl hat. So as you may know, I am working on a baby girl set and a baby boy set with various patterns that I have picked out. And last episode I showed you that I had finished the baby boy hat, and I'm using leftovers from some of my Desert Vista Dye Works socks from previous months. So I think last episode I was done the ribbing and only a few rows into the stockinette. Now I have since finished the hat. This is the Easy Peasy newborn sock hat, and it's very simple. You just cast on. I believe the pattern has you do a rolled brim. I prefer the look of a ribbed brim. Then you just knit for, I think, 3.5 inches, and then you start the decreases. You finish the decreases, you do a bit of an I-cord, you do a little knot, and there you go. So they are fairly quick, and they really don't use a lot of yarn. I think both of these hats used about 15 grams of yarn. So really, if you had a mini skein that you really loved, you could whip up one of those. You could whip up one of these with like a mini skein. I'm tempted. I was thinking, I was like, oh, I have all these mini skeins, I should make more hats. But I'm like, really, how many newborn hats do I need? So this is fine. I'm gonna stick with these two. The baby is due in April, and so it's not gonna need a newborn hat for that long before the weather starts warming up. And by the time it cools down again, I'm going to be needing to make a bigger sized hat. So I think I'm just going to leave it at these, and these will be my cute little newborn hospital hats that I will bring. So those are my finished objects. And then I have my work in progress. So I have one that you saw last episode, and then I have one that I have since cast on. So it's a new cast on. So we are going to start with the one that you've already seen. And I'm really happy with the progress that I have made on these, and I am talking about my February Desert Vista Dye Works socks. So in January, I was down to the wire knitting on the last day to finish my January socks, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I am not going to have that same problem in February. I knew I really wanted to make a good start on these socks this month because it is a shorter month, and I didn't want to be right at the last day again. I really don't like being at the last day. I've started to learn where in the second sock I need to be to feel confident that I will finish on the last day, but I don't like finishing on the last day, so I'm hoping we'll be done well before the last day in February. My goal usually is to have the first sock done by the middle of the month, and then I know I can get the second sock done no problem, and we're basically there. So last week I showed you my progress on these. I had finished the cuff, I had finished the leg, and I had just started the increases for the heel shaping. And so now I have finished the heel, I am down the foot, and actually last night I just started, I don't know if you'll be able to see the little indent there, but I have just started the decreases for the toe. So this sock will be done today, no problem. Toes take me no more than an hour. So this sock will be done. It is the halfway point of the month, and I will have my first sock done. So that is very, very exciting. These are being made for one of my brothers. This is the colorway Lions and Tigers and Bears. I just thought these colors would really suit him. And I'm just doing my basic vanilla. So 72 stitch cast on, 2x1 rib, plain leg, triangular shape heel, and I'm just going to do my standard toe. So I will say that right here you may notice the stripes go a little wonky. Sometimes with my socks, I do make the extra effort to do a little yarn management so that after I finish the heel shaping and I come back to working in the round, I'll make it so that the stripes continue in the proper sequence. This time I just didn't feel like doing that. I think I ended on the heel and I had finished a full stripe. So the next color was going to be a full stripe, and I just decided to keep going. And so there's a little bit of a color jog there, but I know my brothers won't care, and at this point I wasn't in the mood to do color arrangement. So this is what it's going to be. Like I said, I am going to finish the toe very shortly. I know I don't mention it all the time, but I do knit my socks on 2mm needles. And I do plan for the second sock to rewind the cake and have the stripes go in the opposite direction, like I tend to do. So I'm very happy with how my progress on those are going. I hope to have the second sock cast on over the weekend. We will be going to my mom's on Sunday for a little visit, and I will probably bring it with me. So I should be able to make a fairly, good dent over the next week so that finishing by the end of the month will not be a problem. The second work in progress I have to share with you is a new cast on, and it was one of the goals that I had for February. So one of the projects that I wanted to work on for February, it actually does work for my bingo card. I think everything I've showed you except the cat mat so far works towards my bingo card in some way. The baby hats work towards it, my DVD stocks work, and this is a specific square on my bingo card. So last week I showed you this yarn in the skein. This is from Unwind Yarn Company. It's a skein I won in her year-long challenge last year, and I believe this colorway is Let Them Eat Cake. I chose this as my prize because I just thought this was going to be a really, really pretty kind of gender neutral color with the mints and the kind of pops of red and more like, you know, olivey colors. I just thought it would work really well as a gender neutral newborn garment, and I really, really want to have a newborn sized sweater for when the baby's born, because we did not have that with Avery. I made all the stuff I knit for Avery before she was born was, you know, the 3-month size, and nothing fit her. So I want to have at least one newborn sweater, and I think the newborn Vertebrae is just a really well designed, practical garment for a newborn. So this is what I have so far. I have taken off I've just taken off the sleeve stitches so that you can see, like, literally, I think I've done like 2 rows after I've taken the stitches off, but I've just taken the sleeve stitches off. It's just a basic raglan sweater with kind of there's not a lot of front increases. It's a very open design, and the intention is that it keeps the baby's back warm and the baby's arms warm, but it leaves the front open for if there's any spit up or barfing, which would have been handy with Avery. She was a big barfer, and oh my goodness. So I like the design of this. I like how it's a very practical knit, and it was washable and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm very happy with how this is going. So yeah, I've got the sleeves taken off. I'm at the part where I'm just working stockinette down the body for whatever length the pattern says, and then I will do some ribbing, and then I'm going to end up picking up around the neckband here and down the sides and doing a ribbed kind of collary thing. So it's just a plain, there's no buttons or anything, it's just open. But yeah, so I think this should be a fairly quick knit now that I have the stitches off from the sleeves and there's less stitches, and it's just a very simple back and forth. I'm hoping to make some good progress on this. I would love to have the body done by the next time I see you, and then maybe get the sleeves done. I don't think the sleeves will take very long, honestly. They're little baby sleeves. I should be able to do that in an afternoon. But if I can get the body done by next time, that would be awesome. I will note that I made one tiny little change. This is a one size pattern. It's the free version. I do believe that the designer has paid versions of other sizes, but the newborn size is free. And all I did was, there was a certain number of stitches. I think you were supposed to do all the raglan increases until there were 47 stitches within the sleeve area. I did just a few extra increases with the idea that if the sleeve was just slightly bigger, I might get just a little longer wear out of the garment, because the baby, I know, at least with Avery, most babies don't tend to expand a ton this way right off the bat, but yeah, so the arms, as long as the arms aren't tight, I'm hoping that that will just give me a few extra weeks maybe of wear for this little sweater. But I really like how the colorway is knitting up. I'm happy with the pattern. It's super simple and mindless. It's just perfect for just sitting there and knitting. And I will be very excited when this is done and, you know, blocked, and we can put it in. I haven't started packing a hospital bag. I've started thinking about what I want to bring and what I still need to pick up that I don't have, but I have not actually started to pack one. It's still a little bit early unless something out of the ordinary happens, but I have started thinking about it. But this will be in the bag along with the little hats and some of the other little things that I'm making for the baby sets. So those are the 2 things that I have been working on. And next I just want to talk about what I plan on working on. So kind of like like I talked about in the last episode, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do episodes every week, just depending on how I'm feeling. But what my plan is to kind of give myself some mini goals on what I want to have done for the next episode, and then once I reach those goals, I'll sit down and have a little chat with you guys. So these are kind of the projects that I really like to get started working on or make more progress on to show you for the next episode. So obviously I want to have more progress or have finished some of the things that I just showed you in my work in progress section, and then these are some things that I either want to start or work on going forward into the next week or so. So the first one is I want to get started on the next portion of the baby set, and that would be the octopus. I've decided I want to do the octopus next, and I'm going to start with the girl octopus and then do the boy octopus, and then the last part is the snuggle sack, and I will do that last. So I've got my yarn here. This is the yarn that I will be using for the octopus. This is Premier Yarns Parfait, and it is just kind of a really, really soft chenille yarn, which I think will work really, really well for the octopus toy. So I'm hoping to get that started. It's crochet. Is it a crochet pattern? I don't remember. I have picked a pattern. I don't remember if it's crochet or knit. I think it's crochet, so it shouldn't take very long to finish up. So that might be finished by the next time. I don't know, but I definitely want to start it. Another project that I want to kind of bring out and make some progress on is my micro stripe socks. So I started these, I don't know if I started them in November or December. I know I was hoping to have them done by the end of the year, but that just didn't happen. I want to bring these back out. I don't usually have languishing sock projects. I typically finish my socks within a really good amount of time, unless they're colorwork socks. Colorwork, I don't think I've ever successfully completed a pair of colorwork socks. In my head, I just realized I am wrong. I finished those stripes and stranded socks. Those were really fun socks. I would totally do that pattern again. But most other colorwork socks that I have attempted, I don't end up finishing. I usually end up ripping out. So yeah, I'm not one for just like normal vanilla socks to have them sitting around. And I currently have two from last year. I have those Advent socks that I started, and then I have these micro stripe socks. And so I really want to get those done. So this is how much I have so far. I've got the whole leg done, I've got the heel put in, and I have started down the foot. And I've mentioned before that this micro stripe technique is so much fun that when I am working on it, I really enjoy it. So I want to get back to these because I know I can finish at least the first sock in not too much time, and then it's just a matter of casting on that second sock and getting it started. So to do the micro striping, I am using this yarn here as my contrast. I think this is from Northern Bay Fibers. I was part of their club a number of years ago, and this is one of the shipments we got. It's this really pretty kind of like lagoon teal tonal with this Lurex sparkle, and I am combining it with this kettle yarn here, which is basically like a sock blank, but it's been made into a little tube. Knit Picks, I should check. I don't know if they're still on the website, but I purchased from Knit Picks. They had these like wheels, these color wheels that were done in a very similar way, where it's like a sock blank done in a little tube versus a kind of a bigger, I don't know, piece of fabric. So the two of these together, I'm really liking how that is working up. And yeah, I just want to bring these out. I want to put these in my knitting spot, and I just want to make some more progress on these and get them done. If I do, this actually does work towards one of the squares on my card. I do have a square that says finish 2 whips from prior to 2020. I think I already finished one. It was that ribbed hat that I did for Dennis's friend. So if I were to finish these socks, that would be a bingo square marked off. I don't think I've finished any squares so far, but I've started chipping away at some of them, and I'm hoping to get to some of those one project squares soon. The baby vertebrae is a one project square. I think there's some other one project squares that if I target those, I'll feel like I'm starting to make some progress. Just talking about the Crafty Bingo for a second, in the group, oh my goodness, you guys, if you're participating in the 2020 Crafty Bingo, there are so many participants who are doing an amazing job on their cards so far. There are blocks and squares being finished all over the place. I'm so proud of you. It's just, yeah, if you want some inspiration, even if you're not participating, just head over to the Bling String Crafty Bingo thread and have a look at everybody's goals and everybody's projects and what everybody is working on. It's just been really fun to go in there and check out. Every day there's new stuff popping up. People are finishing things all over the place. So yeah, you guys are doing an amazing job. I am not, but I'm not worried. I know it will come. It's just a matter of time. I just have to keep plugging away at some of those squares. So the only other thing that I'm going to add about what I would like to accomplish over the next little week or so, I think I would like to sit down and try and make some more progress on my granny stripe blanket. I have not touched it since I worked on it over Christmas. The last time I showed it to you, either on the podcast or during the Vlogmas episodes I did, that's where it's stayed. And yeah, so I want to weave in the ends that were left from my progress over December, and then I'd like to try and put in some more stripes, because I think I've pretty much decided that once I catch up with the yarns that I received in my Advent swaps, I'm calling that blanket done. I think it's going to be a very usable size for kind of hanging out on the couch or whatnot. And yeah, I'd like to get that done and finished and potentially start another one. It is a really fun project, but I want to make some more progress on it. It's been languishing a little too long for my liking, and so if I can sit down and make a little progress on that over the next week or so, that would be wonderful. So those are my goals for the next little while and what I've been working on, and I think that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a lovely weekend going forward, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.